From director Christopher Nolan comes the only comic book movie franchise in history that can be taken seriously, even though it's centered around a deranged multi-billionaire playboy with a Halloween fetish. That being said, if you don't like Batman, then go outside and bite the curb. I'll be there shortly. This is Batman Begins. Hello and welcome to another edition of Superhero Movie Review Time. I'm your host Grant Liston, a very bored Englishman. So, this is episode 1 of season 2, Batman Begins. I just want to start off by saying that this film redefined an entire genre. This film is, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's a great start to a pretty damn good trilogy. So the film starts off with a very young Bruce Wayne acting like an arsehole, and he falls down a well only to be molested by a fuck ton of bats. This only turns out to be a dream sequence by Christian Bale playing the adult Bruce Wayne. And, well, bear in mind that Christian Bale is taking over the Caped Crusader from George Clooney. This was a huge fucking risk right here. Christian Bale stepped into a world of unknown, but what a performance he puts in as Batman. So it turns out that adult Bruce Wayne is spending his times locked up in a third world country prison, beating up criminals for shits and grins. Bruce is then released from prison by a man named Ducard, who's played by a fantastic Liam Neeson. Ducard then sets Bruce's first challenge to make his way to the League of Shadows temple and acquire one rare blue flower. At the top of the mountain, Bruce finds himself face to face with a majority of the League of Shadows and a man named Ra's al Ghul. Bruce is completely tired from his journey and Liam Neeson kicks the shit out of him. It's quite fun to watch. What I do love about this film is its theme, from the off. The film sets about giving you the theme of fear, and the enemies use the fear to their advantage. The hero embraces his fear to make himself fear less. It's very artfully done, but it never threatens to overwhelm you. That being said, this first part of the film irks me because it jumps back and forth to present day and flashbacks quite a lot. And I understand it builds story and character arcs and introduces more characters from Bruce's past who you meet again in the present. Yet, I'm not a fan of it being so disconjunctive and very all over the place. I like to see a spread out story that develops over time. However, I'll let it slide because it was pretty fun. The second flashback involves Bruce's father Thomas saving Bruce from the well and after he was touched in his no-no parts. Oh come on, look at that face. That's a face of a kid who can't keep a secret. But also in this flashback we get introduced to the butler Alfred Pennyworth, played by Michael Caine. Just fantastic actor. Bruce and his parents then go to take in an opera. Then Bruce has some sort of Vietnam flashback and says, can we leave? And so the parents take him outside and, you know, we all know what happens next. Yeah, Uncle Ben gets killed by a car thief. No, wait, that's not right. The cosmic radiation attacks the fantastic... No, that's not it either. Oh yeah, Bruce's parents get gunned down. Yeah, again. So, Bruce witnesses his parents being killed in a mugging gone right or wrong, depends on what side you stand, really. Gary Oldman then puts on a stellar performance as Jim Gordon, as Bruce is informed that the killer has been caught. Take that 2 seasons of Gotham, we did this in one night. We now get a pretty sweet montage of Bruce learning how to become a ninja monk as Ducard puts him through his paces. And just as we start to really build some character arcs between Bruce and Ducard and begin to really feel for the characters, another fucking flashback pops up. But this time, Bruce is a bit older and he's going to see a parole hearing for his parents' killer Joe Chill, with the intention to shoot him. However, before Bruce can do anything, the mobster Carmine Falcone has Joe Chill killed in front of Bruce. Bruce's childhood friend, Rachel Dawes, played by Katie Holmes, then discovers what Bruce is planning to do and gives him a fucking good whack. She then delivers this steel-cold line of, "Your father would be ashamed of you." Oh, it's a good line. However, if Bruce's father was alive, then there'll be no reason for Bruce wanting to kill Chill. So is she just saying that to stir some emotions, or is she saying that, you know, Thomas Wayne was actually very disappointed in Bruce and ashamed? She then drops Bruce over to the docks to confront Carmine Falcone, played by a fantastic Tom Wilkinson. And Falcone then gives Bruce some lifelong advice of that he owns the police, the lawyers, the judges, and pretty much all of Gotham, and there's nothing you can do about it. Falcone then kicks Bruce to the curb, and then Bruce decides to go into exile. So after passing the final test, Ducard finally feels that Bruce is ready to join the League of Shadows, but has just one final task for him: kill a murderer. Bruce declines, saying that the man must stand trial. Ra's al Ghul takes exception to this and reveals his plans to destroy Gotham. Bruce then takes action and knocks out Ducard and sets fire to the temple, killing Ra's al Ghul. Bruce then makes sure that no more harm will come to Ducard and leaves him with some villagers. He then somehow contacts Alfred and is flown back to Gotham. I mean, seriously, was Alfred just sitting by the phone for the last 7 years hoping? Meanwhile, back in Gotham, Falcone's working with a man named Dr. Jonathan Crane, and they're both neck deep in fueling Gotham full of drugs. And they're planning some shipments coming in through to the docks. Bruce Wayne then decides to come public of coming back from the dead, and starts working closely with a man named Lucius Fox, played by Morgan Freeman. This film is wall-to-wall superstars. I love it. So Bruce disguises himself as a Essex UKIP voter to intimidate/recruit Jim Gordon into his plan to saving Gotham. He also talks to Lucius Fox into supplying him with some equipment. And you know what? Lucius Fox goes, "Yeah, you know how I see it? This is your stuff anyway." Are you mad? What if Bruce Wayne was deranged, like seriously mentally unwell, taking all this military equipment that it's too expensive to go into production, but this is some hardcore equipment? What if Bruce was missing a couple of screws? You've now just given him all these fun toys. Can you imagine the amount of schools that would be shut down? Thanks to a certain American virus called gun control. We now get to see the new Batmobile, which is sexy as fuck. I mean, my God, I love it. Just one question. How did they manage to sneak that beast from Wayne Enterprises to Wayne Manor? Now, the excuse, because I'm Batman, is okay. I was just curious. Now, at 58 minutes and 52 seconds, we get our first real Batman fight scene. No, not that one. Oh, now I made myself feel sad. Everything gets ramped up to 100%. The suspense, the music, the fear, all of it oozes through. I love how that the camera never really stays focused on Batman, building up the whole who or what is that from the criminal's point of view, until it finally grabs Falcone and says, "I'm Batman." Fuck yes! We then get this arsehole copper who looks at Jim Gordon, points to these criminals and go, "Falcone's men?" And Jim's like, "It doesn't matter, we're not going to be able to tie him to the crime anyway." Then the copper then goes, "I wouldn't be too sure of that." And he leads Jim Gordon over to Falcone tied up on the searchlight, posing as a bat. Okay, great shot, yeah, fair enough, but that fucking douchey cop bullshit dialogue didn't make any sense to me. So then Falcone's placed in prison, and he threatens Crane that if he isn't released, he's going to tell everybody what Crane does in Arkham. This is where the film introduces us to the third villain, and you see Crane's eyes light up and he brings out his mask to don as the criminal persona Scarecrow, in which he subjects Falcone to his drug and turns him into a gibbering wreck. Once again, it was a great choice of villain in Scarecrow. Bear in mind, the entire film revolves around the one word of fear. And as I was saying earlier, Scarecrow's main attribute as a villain is to induce the fear toxin, to make everyone paranoid and terrified of his mind control. I can understand why they didn't go for the mind control theory in this sort of world, because this is almost like if Batman was real universe. So having him as the hallucinogenic drug guy really did make sense. I liked it. So then Batman tracks down more of the drugs from the docks and chases them down to a place called the Narrows, where he comes face to face with, holy shit, that's Joffrey! Sean Bean condemns Christian Bale for not killing him there and there. # King of the North. Batman then takes down a couple of Scarecrow's goons, but then Scarecrow uses his drug and takes down the Batman, and he has to call Alfred to come and save him. And now, I love the fact they basically turn Bruce Wayne into Lindsay Lohan while she's ODing in the backseat. So Batman recovers just in time for his birthday, but he ditches out on his party to save Rachel, who's gone up to Arkham Asylum to confront Jonathan Crane. Bruce is now in a race against time to get Rachel the cure, so we get this fantastic, zany and freaking sweet car chase involving the Batmobile and the police. Gordon then discovers Crane's been feeding his drug into Gotham's water supply. Talk about classic comic book storyline. So when Bruce arrives back at the mansion, he finds the party in full swing, only for it to be gatecrashed by the League of Shadows, led by Ducard. But it turns out he's not really Ducard, he's actually Ra's al Ghul, making this huge facade over Bruce the entire time. Bruce then pretends to get drunk and offends all of his guests to make them leave, but it's actually a ruse to make sure they all get out of the way of the crossfire. Bruce and Ra's then have a huge fight scene, and it ends with Ra's al Ghul setting the mansion on fire and leaving Bruce to die, only to be saved later on by Alfred. So Ra's al Ghul's plan is to use a stolen microwave emitter to vaporise all of the city's water supply, releasing Scarecrow's drug into the entire town and infecting everyone, making them all go crazy. We then get arsehole copper number 2, who tells Rachel, sorry ma'am, you can't go over there, we're sending SWAT, armed police, the all tactical forces, they're going to deal with this problem no further. She goes, well, I'm with the DA's office. If it was that copy, we were like, that's good, now fuck off. But he's like, no, doesn't even bat an eyelid. Go on, love, off you go. Honestly, it's either the dialogue or the coppers in that town are like fucking retards. Ah, fuck, Joffrey's back. But at least he's being treated like a little bitch by the fake police. Hashtag King of the North. So Ra's al Ghul then turns the machine on, poisoning everyone. Apart from little Joffrey. But then again, we had to wait, 9 years for this. Yeah, so apparently Katie Holmes' armpit is airtight, so he didn't get poisoned. Then we get Scarecrow arrive on fucking horseback. Where the fuck did he get a horse from in this town? I mean, okay, it's pretty funny. Katie Holmes pulls out a taser and shoots him in the face with it. Yeah, it was really funny, but was it really necessary? I mean, I would have been content with Batman punching him in the face again. Batman and Gordon then end up teaming up. Gordon uses the Batmobile to destroy part of the train foundation stand, whilst Batman and Ra's al Ghul fight on the train. Batman tells Ra's that he's not going to kill him, but he doesn't have to save him either, and glides off the train, leaving Ra's al Ghul to seemingly die as the train crashes into Wayne Enterprises. So with the city saved, Batman reveals to Rachel that he is in fact Batman and wants to, enter her Batcave. But she turns him down and leaves him to rebuild the mansion. We now see Lucius Fox has been put in charge of Wayne Enterprises, and Jim Gordon asks Batman for help catching a criminal who leaves a certain calling card. So, that was Batman Begins. And I've got to say, I really, truly enjoyed this film. I think there's 3 bad things and 3 outstanding things. I'm going to get the bad things out of the way first. Now, you could probably call me a nitpicker for this one, but at the same time, I've heard it from both sides, and I do tend to sympathise with people who haven't got a long attention span. But the first hour of this film was very, very strange. It was very clunky and just really trying to grind out the fact that you've got to respect and understand this character. When it came out in 2005, I've got to admit, I was very exhausted trying to slug through that first hour. But now I've read more into it and I can actually understand and respect the filmmaking of Christopher Nolan. But it still sticks to me that the first hour really does grind along. My second point fills in with the first hour point of the flashbacks. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand the use of flashbacks and they did work very well throughout the film. But for me, they really tore apart the character train that we were on to get to know Bruce more and learn more about Ducard. I mean, he was just telling us about his wife and that he had a child and no more. I'd like to know where that goes on. Yet the film decided to cut that off and throw another flashback in there, and it got exhausting after a while. But the number one main thing that really tore at me for this film was those dickhead coppers with the shit dialogue. I don't know whether to blame direction or the writing script, but the 2 times I mentioned, they ground at me so much while watching this film. I mean, the first one, either he was just being a sly douche or just a fucking artard, and the second one was just being a fucking turd. However, as promised, I'm now going to say my 3 best things about this movie, because there are so many. I'm going to start off with the choice of cast, the actors, Tom Wilkinson, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, oh my goodness, and so many more. I don't know what kind of budget they were working on, but thank goodness they brought these stars in, because it really gave a rich, powerful intro to the film. Next up is the action. Now, I'm not a jarhead while watching films. I'm not after Michael Bay's explosions and constant, oh, this is awesome. I like some depth to a film. But when the action was happening on this film, the pace was great. The action was high intensity. You felt it on the edge of your seat. You really got behind what was going on. And my number one favourite thing about this film is the storyline itself. It corroborates so much when it comes to the cartoons and the comics, keeping true to the original lore of Batman, but with just a hint and twist of more Christopher Nolan to come. It was flawless. I mean, the storyline ran through with no plot holes. It was thoroughly entertaining to watch. So I'm going to give this one a solid 8 out of 10. Damn good job. Just the first hour, pretty slow for me. So, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and as always, leave a dirty comment. And I'll see you next time for, and I'm dreading this one, The Dark Knight. I'm in for a treat. Take care now.